Hey everybody, how's it going? Matthew Kadish here, author of the Earthman Jack Space Saga, available on Amazon.com. And we are going to be talking about some exciting TV news today. Now, Stephen King, one of the greatest, most prolific authors known to man, has been seeing kind of a renaissance lately. Back in the 80s, early 90s, there was this big kind of gold rush in terms of Stephen King properties, where Hollywood was snatching up his books and turning them into movies and TV series and stuff like that. And none of them were very good. That was kind of the curse of Stephen King, was that his adaptations were always terrible. And they never really did justice to the books, other than maybe The Shining. But it was funny because The Shining kind of took the premise of the book and went off in its own direction. And that's what made it great, ultimately, was the vision of the director behind that. Who, of course, was this legendary director. But when it came to TV, they were able to kind of adapt Stephen King's more meaty books and be a little bit more faithful to them, even though, they still weren't very good. So if you look at It, the original It miniseries from the 80s, it's kind of painful to watch nowadays, and in all honesty, it was kind of painful to watch back then too. But The Stand also got the miniseries treatment, and that was a little bit better, but it still doesn't hold up, stand the test of time. But Stephen King has been seeing a bit of a renaissance lately, in the sense that his stuff has been getting readapted into movies and TV shows, which are actually pretty good. This all started with It Chapter 1, which was a fantastic horror movie. I think it really captured the spirit of the book and was very scary, but at the same time very interesting and well acted and well shot. And then we had the remake of Pet Sematary. And I don't know if you guys have seen the remake of Pet Sematary, but it is so much better than the original movie version of that film, or of that book, that I really enjoyed it personally. And then, of course, we've seen Castle Rock on Hulu, which is kind of a mixed bag. It has its good points and its bad points, but it was kind of like, the start of the Stephen King cinematic universe. And of course, there was the disaster that was The Dark Tower. And even though that was complete garbage, it's just further proof that there's still strong interest in Stephen King and his work. And in fact, for those of you who don't know, The Dark Tower is getting rebooted as a TV show, so it's going to make up for the sins of the movie, hopefully. And I'm excited to see that. But now we've got Stephen King's seminal, some would call it his masterpiece, The Stand. And it is being adapted into a new miniseries, this time on CBS All-Access. Now, CBS has been kind of struggling to kind of stand out in the middle of these streaming wars, as more studios are kind of gearing up to release their own streaming platforms to compete with Netflix and Amazon. CBS was kind of an early entry into the streaming wars, and they've been holding fairly steady, I think, but between CBS All Access and Showtime, they have something like 8 million subscribers between the two of those platforms. So they're doing okay by streaming standards. But the biggest thing with attracting subscribers to streaming platforms is having good original content that people actually want to watch. And so far, CBS has basically, they have Star Trek, Discovery, and the sequel to The Good Wife. I think it's called The Good Fight or something like that. And those are the two big original series for the platform, and they haven't really been setting the world on fire lately. But CBS is really kind of stepping up its game. It recently released the update of The Twilight Zone that Jordan Peele was involved in. And now they're getting into the Stephen King game. And basically, CBS is producing a 10-episode series based on The Stand. And not only are we getting a remake of The Stand, but we're also getting a brand new ending to that story from Stephen King himself. And I will basically break that down in this article. We are at winteriscoming.net, which is an excellent news site, by the way. Even like outside of Game of Thrones stuff, like they have really good coverage on things, so I highly recommend you check them out. Link to this article will be in the description, by the way. So by Dan Sleckie, CBS The Stand adds cast members, gets new ending from Stephen King. CBS is adapting Stephen King's The Stand, his longest single novel and still among his most beloved, as a 10-part miniseries for its CBS All-Access streaming service. The story, about a virus that wipes out 99% of the world's population and leaves the survivors to play out a battle between good and evil, is a good one, full of rich characters and twists aplenty. We know that the age-defying James Marston will play grizzled Texan Stu Redman, a role played by Gary Lieutenant Dan Sinise, when ABC adapted the book back in the 90s. Now, CBS has invited a few more to the post-apocalyptic party. First, we've got Amber Heard, who made us a splash as Mira in Aquaman last year. She'll be playing Nadine Cross, a private school teacher who finds herself strangely drawn to Randall Flagg, the book's demonic, denim-wearing villain. No word on who's playing him yet. Nadine was probably the character who made the biggest impression on me from the 1994 miniseries, so here's hoping Heard does a good job with her. Meanwhile, Odessa Young, from Assassination Nation, will play Franny Goldsmith, a cheery, pregnant 22-year-old student, while Henry Zaga, from 13 Reasons Why, will take on the role of Nick Andros, a deaf mute who marshals together members of the living and brings them to meet Mother Abigail, a saintly figure who gathers together the good survivors of the plague and helps them set up a new community in Boulder, Colorado. Naturally, the evil survivors gather in Las Vegas because where else would they go? You know, as someone who lives in Las Vegas, I resent the fact that Las Vegas is considered to be evil, but what are you going to do? It's the desert. Rumor has it that Whoopi Goldberg may play Mother Abigail, although there is no firm word on that yet. Whoever gets cast, they'll all get to play out a brand new ending to the story. According to Deadline, Stephen King himself is writing the last episode of the show and prepping a new coda that won't be found in the book. So if we hop on over to Deadline here, we're going to get a few more details on what this new ending might be. So by Nellie Andreeva, this is the headline, The Stand, Stephen King writing continuation to the book for CBS All-Access limited series adaptation. So we've got some groundwork here for The Stand being turned into a new miniseries. But Thursday, it was announced King will write the last episode of the 9-episode series, providing a new coda that won't be found in the book. For fans of the book who have wondered what became of the survivors of The Stand, this episode will contain a story that takes us beyond the book to answer those questions, CBS All-Access EVP Julie McNamara said. A continuation of The Stand. We can't wait to share that with the world. The CBS All-Access limited series is written by Josh Boone and Ben Cavell. Boone had developed a relationship with King while trying for years to mount a screen adaptation of The Stand as a movie or series of movies. Out of the duo's discussions came the idea for a new act penned by King. The prolific horror author had lamented in interviews that he wasn't quite happy with the ending of the book, so he likely sparked the idea of writing a new one. I hear the new material will pick up right after the events of the novel. The script is still being written, but I hear the follow-up will be a substantial part of the final episode, not a brief epilogue at the end. So it's not going to be something that's just tacked on. It's actually going to be a legit continuation. And if I had to guess, I'd actually say it might set up a second miniseries or a second season of the show, just because we love these continuing series. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route and introduce maybe like a new obstacle for the characters who survive to face at the end, or it might just be one and done. Who knows? But it certainly seems like Stephen King is going to come up with something new and fresh that fans of the book haven't seen before. And so that's definitely going to get people to want to sign up to CBS All Access just to see what King comes up with. And I'm always kind of, hopeful when original creators get involved with like the adaptations. But the thing about Stephen King is he has a very checkered history in terms of adapting stuff for the screen. He's definitely worked in movies where his contributions have not benefited the story, ironically enough. So also King, he's a better novelist than he is a screenwriter, I think. But, the fact that he wasn't happy with the ending and he wants a chance to correct that is kind of encouraging. And I'm definitely going to check this out. I didn't care for the other Stephen King show, which was Castle Rock. But I feel like The Stand, it has good source material to work off of. And this new ending by King could be, quite interesting as well. The cast so far seems really good. So, who knows? I'm definitely going to look forward to this. And this coupled with Picard, the new Picard series and stuff like that, might be worth subscribing to CBS All Access again. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for this Stand miniseries? How do you think Stephen King's going to end it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. And for more TV, movie, and entertainment news, please check out my videos. I post them daily. This is Matthew Kadish. I will catch you later.